So guys, we're live.
For the third time.
All right, shut the music.
Oh, shut the music. Sorry, my bad. I got a little carried away this time. But what's going on?
Not much, man. Just having a little Pugachev Cobra
Pugachev
that you brought.
That I brought.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. We've had this a few times. Sometimes we can't remember what it tastes like the next day because of just, whatever
You had
situation.
too much?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's good. It's always been good. This year tastes a lot less boozy in my opinion. All you guys out there, the craft beer guys, in my opinion, what I'm tasting, but I am also a little under the weather right now, so it could be my taste buds are a little different or picking up different notes there, but that right there got up to almost 20%, man. Can you imagine?
So it was 20%, right?
Close
Or like
to
19.
20%, 19
okay, because
something.
that's what I remembered when I saw Pugachev, but then this one's 13.
Yeah, this is like toned down.
13%. Yeah, it's definitely
this
less
isn't what-
boozy.
It's not as boozy. It still has that. Well, I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna say right now. I think I'm still hungover, but it still has that bold forwardness to it. Without
Bursting with aromas of chocolate, vanilla, oak, bourbon,
Like a
licorice,
dark
and
cacao.
dark fruits. The bourbon for sure, because obviously it's aged in, it's barreled aged,
yeah,
but
I can pick that up.
and then stouts always have that chocolatey flavor, the vanilla kind of tones, notes.
Roasted malt, coffee. So this right here, I have one. Oh, I've told you, I have one of these from 2013 that I need to open because it's at that 5-year mark.
That's the one that time we went, right? The first time we went to Hangar.
That's the second time we went to
that was-
Hangar.
So it was 2012 when we went.
No, when we went to Hangar, I think it was 2014.
Oh, okay.
And I got that bottle 2013.
Even before that.
Yeah, even before that. And I think it's ready to be drunken.
Drunk.
I'm gonna be drunk.
That's 19 too, or what?
No, that one's like 17, I believe. I don't know that year, maybe 17, 18. And then they kind of went from 17, 18, 19, around there. And then now this year, last year I think it was low as well. I mean, you guys can correct me on this, I don't care, but this one's the lowest I've ever seen it, 13%. That's kind of where Bourbon County is at, around the 13, 14 mark, which that's amazing stuff too. It's like some really good stuff right there.
No, it's good. It's a lot lighter than what I remember, so it's.
It's not a ton of bricks hitting your mouth.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
Did you get some?
No, I did not.
No. Why are we depriving the man? Here, let me come over here.
Like, man, you guys
No, there's some glasses below that too.
Right here, let's give
liquidy goodness already.
licorice. Here we go. Let's give the man some. But anyways, we got a special guest today. He's not going to be, you probably not going to hear him too much, but it's a good friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a great friend of mine. Just like my brother.
He's taking care of the camera and.
Yeah, we were talking about that, right? Like, listen, we probably need somebody to come just do something, but we don't got the funds to pay you. Everybody wants to charge nowadays. We just ain't got the funds to do that. Right?
Well, we do, but I'd rather spend.
No.
on other stuff.
I don't have any funds. Do not come after me.
All right. Neither do I.
So yeah, definitely. But this is the Christmas special for all the pagans out there. Shout out to the pagan holiday Christmas.
Well, I don't celebrate, so.
I don't celebrate either.
But it is Christmas.
But it is Christmas, and this is the Christmas edition of it. It's the Christmas, not Christmas edition of it, if that makes sense. But man, dude, it's crazy these holidays, huh? People going crazy and all that stuff. The malls are packed.
Are they? Well, right now we went to go pick this up, and the streets are empty.
No.
So.
Before this, no, you're right. Yeah. The streets are empty. Guess what though? I'm not gonna lie. I took advantage of some of these special deals going on for myself. Nobody bought me anything. I didn't buy anything to anybody.
What kind of deals are there?
Like 25% off for this Christmas deal and stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
So you fell for that whole consumerism.
That's essentially what this is, right? Really, right? Like, we talk about these holidays, man. What the hell are they? What the fuck is Christmas? Somebody explain this to me.
That's when Jesus was born, dude.
Shut the hell up, dude. Really?
Ask anyone.
Anyone above what? 40 years old?
Again, well, all holidays, when you think about it these days, they're all just a bunch of consumerism, marketing. People are trying to make money off of all of that stuff. Just like Valentine's, just like every other thing you can think of. So, at this point in time, I think that's what it is. Mainly because most people, they're more secular these days anyway. So it's not like they necessarily believe that it's Jesus Christ's birthday, which we know it isn't. We know it comes from pagan, like we were talking about pagan beliefs. But no, yeah, I mean, like at this point, I think it's just become a traditional secular thing that people continue doing it because they think that it brings families together, even though a lot of people hate each other anyway. A lot of families.
Listen, so I'm pretty big on the social media, Twitter and stuff, and all I've been seeing and being retweeted is how much people don't want to be around their family. It's like an obligation, right? It's an obligation. It's seasons, spirit in there, but it's a bunch of crap. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here, like I don't got time to not spend time with those people. I don't even have time to spend time with people that I care about. You think I'm gonna spend time with people that I don't care about, family or not? So you're not gonna bring me in together to spend time with a cousin, an uncle, aunt that I don't care about, because there's other people I care about the most,
right,
more, or the most that I don't get. I just caught myself in a little whirlwind here, but yeah, technically all this stuff, and then we get upset, or these people get upset when they don't get what they want. I thought the gift was like, it's coming out of my heart, and this is what I can give you. It's not. It's what can your wallet get me?
Well, it's the same thing with Thanksgiving. People are always complaining about having to spend time with certain family members who they hate or they dislike for any number of reasons, yet they still feel that obligation to be there. Why? I'm like, it doesn't make sense, dude. Why are you going to spend a whole day with people you hate just because you feel pressure to do so? It's just stupid. But people, a lot of them are just, they have these traditional, mindset that they can't get out of, and they continue to do so. Just like, Christmas, just like, any other holiday like Valentine's, for example. A lot of guys feel like they have to buy flowers and gifts and take them out to dinner. And
why is Valentine's a primary woman's holiday? I want some equality up in here. Huh? What's that? What would be the equivalent of a guy's Valentine's?
No, but you don't even have to have an equivalent holiday.
If there was,
you can just make Valentine's equal, and she also does, or has to take you out, or it can be either or. It doesn't have to be because it's usually implied that the guy is the one who takes out the girlfriend or the wife out and spends all this money on flowers and chocolates, and first of all, they're gonna get fat, so I don't know why they buy chocolates. But anyway, even besides that, the guy always is the one that is in that position that they feel like they have to do that. Why?
Because we want to flex and we want to stunt and we want to send the 35,000 rose petals to.
No, but like going back to equality and all that crap.
Okay, I got away with that one for a second. But no, really though, that is true. It's very lopsided in that sense of it all. I mean, again, I don't celebrate any holiday just because I don't need a specific day to tell me what I'm gonna do with my life, time, and money.
I mean that, and we weren't raised, following these traditions.
Yeah,
so I think that's even more of a force, with us. But no, yeah, but I still, just when you look into the mindset of people having to follow these things, makes no sense. But anyway, no, like talking about that, I actually remember, the origin of witches.
Bro, hold on.
We're talking about holidays?
Witches, Santa. Okay, let's hold that thought. That's a good one. And it's always fascinating the way you explain it, because I'm halfway buzzed always, or half the time when you explain it, so I just make a fool.
Well, that's
fool
why
out of
it's
it.
fascinating.
Right? So, who the heck is, what's this guy's name?
St. Nicholas?
Saint Nick, yes, that guy. So the dude, I still don't know. I haven't done the research, which I probably should have, but this is my podcast, so I can do what I want.
I do that won't.
I do what I want. And so I didn't really go into it, but I just saw a little description of what Santa Claus is. So it's some dude that was born like after Christ was dead, and a couple hundred years afterwards. He was known for like just being generous and all this stuff. And I think he became the poster child, just like Jerry West on the NBA, right? Like that, the guy dribbling on the thing. So I think people started adopting him, and just, I'm pretty sure there's other stories and other, like, how do you say it? Other, whatever he did. But the Christmas one probably stuck around the longest, and it's still here. I don't know, maybe in 100 years or 200 years, whoever's alive there, it might just be a totally different thing, huh? Santa's gonna be sleighing in a spaceship.
Or
Ho-ho-hoing.
teleporting your gifts. I mean, you didn't have to do anything by then.
Artificial intelligence, yeah.
Or that, or have someone,
Yeah.
a
So,
robot.
actually, you did bring a good point of witches. I mean, I know a little bit of it just because of the stuff you've told me, and I've researched a little bit. Pretty fascinating. But go ahead.
No, well, this I actually read it on Michael Pollan's book. Michael Pollan, for those who don't know it, he's a food journalist. So, one of his more popular books is The Omnivore's Dilemma, in which he talks a lot about, the American food process and everything that, that's behind it, like behind the scenes where our food comes, right? But one of the books where he talks about that, it's called The Botany of Desire, I think. And that book, he's talking about, like, I think it's split into 4 different sections, and one of them, the main section, that particular section's about marijuana. But he also goes more into detail about other type of drugs that,
Mushrooms and
just
hallucinogenic, hallucinogens.
Drugs that make you hallucinate.
Yes.
He brings this side note or side information, and he's talking about how back, I think it was the Middle Ages, back in the Middle Ages, over 500 years ago, or almost 1,000 years ago, however long, depending on
the myth of the witch.
Of the witches, right? So referring to Halloween, of course. So what he says is that back in those times, women would go out into the woods, and they obviously had certain drugs, certain plants that made them hallucinate, right? And then he says how the way, the whole, a witch and a broomstick, like they're flying on the sky and all that. So
or a pitchfork, right? A pitchfork.
No, that's the devil, dude.
Which devil though? Hold on. What
the
devil?
The red one with the goatee
like yours.
No.
There's all kinds of devils.
You're the one with a pitchfork.
Listen, I've met the devil in plenty of situations, and I'm telling you, he's not walking around with a pitchfork and some horns and stuff. That was not the devil I met.
Well, there's.
But anyways, get back to the witch.
There's different devils. Yeah. No, but okay. So back to the witch thing. Would they, there'd be a group of women that would go onto the woods and have fun or whatever with certain drugs.
A group of women went to the woods and had fun. Oh my God, this sounds like a great story.
So anyway, I can't remember what drug it was that he's talking about, but a certain drug, from a plant that made him hallucinate, and the way they would insert it or intake it would be through a dildo. So they somehow, like some, middle-aged dildo. I don't know what they look like, but they add the. So we have the internets.
The internets.
So they'd rub it on the dildo and then just stick it in, obviously, because how that part of the body absorbs chemicals faster, just like the anus.
The anus, the mouth.
Right. Well, obviously, the mouth.
The nose.
So anyway. Yeah, they'd stick it in and they start hallucinating, and that's why they go on trips, which obviously makes them, from an outsider perspective, look crazy or look like they're possessed or whatever,
Right.
So yeah, that's where the myth comes from, which is next time you see someone dressed as a devil during, or not a devil, a witch during Halloween, you can
Yo,
tell them.
that's interesting because yeah, like the whole witch thing, everyone like we all have we kind of all always take what's ever told to us, right? Like we kind of just don't bother to even look for what that really is, right? Like Santa Claus, for example, or now the witches that we're talking about. Oh, witches are witches and they're bad and they used to cast spell and they got this pot cooking, they're cooking, throwing whatever they're throwing in there and they're drinking the juice and
rabbit's
yeah,
tail.
and the witch has been, you know, put into all these Disney movies, right? And oh my God, the witch, and these kids are so, the witch. No, don't trust the witch. You know what I mean? Like, or don't do that. Or here's an apple, eat the apple. But I don't know where I was going with that one. But
I'm sure there's some explanation behind the apple too.
yeah. So, anyways, so we take the witch as being just that, but now it could have just been that. These women having a good time going into the forest deep down and doing this stuff and pleasuring themselves and forming some
Well, I don't know if it was
whatever.
necessarily like I mean, it could have been, but
all this rights to me, all this, it's all pleasure. Has to be.
No, well, I mean, going back to what I was saying earlier, that certain parts of your body absorb chemicals a lot faster than other things. So I mean, it could have just simply been for a more enhanced,
It could have been
experience.
that.
But
No, you're right. It could have been that they probably thought they had some sort of gift or some sort of whatever. They were probably in tune with whatever other dimension there's out there, like right now, So that they probably just did that to get there. You know what I mean? And they felt like they were special. But no, anyone can do this. I'm sorry.
no, but I don't even think it's they're trying to be special. They're just doing their
No,
thing.
they felt
and
like they
then
were special. I'm pretty sure they had to feel like they were like they were different. Not necessarily
but
special.
what I'm saying is like a lot of these myths come from just regular people. Like going back to Saint Nick and all this thing, all these other traditions. They originate from something that's almost mundane or just whatever, and then over time it just evolves into witches, for example.
Right.
Witches riding a broom into the full moon or whatever. I don't know if there's a full moon, but anyway. But you know what I'm saying,
Right.
But I think it's just like slowly it evolves into that. But I don't know that they were trying to seek out that particular. It's just they were having fun out there in the woods doing their thing, and then over time, stories evolve because people just kind of add to it and switch a little thing, take a little thing.
Or even within themselves. Half these stories do come from people that don't fully engage. Like, you think about it, like there's a group of people and not 100% of the group of people there are fully invested in that. Does that make, like, am I going somewhere with this? It could be, us three and, hey guys, let's just go out and do this, right? But one of us is like a little skeptical about it. And then they start freaking out or something starts going on. It's like, no, those guys are crazy. They're witches. And that's totally possible as well. So those, then you start telling those stories and with time and years and stuff. And somebody's great grandmother told a story, right? Kind of how.
No, yeah. I mean, there's that too. And then there's also the fact that back then with less scientific, facts and data, understanding the world, you see someone hallucinating on a trip, you're obviously going to jump to certain conclusions that this person's possessed or this they have the devil or whatever it is. So no, I mean there's all different kinds of factors that affect these things. But no, yeah.
Dude, speaking about trips, since we're on the subject of these witches taking trips, right?
You trying to do some mushrooms?
Yeah, I'd be down for it. Like really, just for the experience.
Actually, just talking about that. I mean, Michael Pollan, same guy, the same author. He has that last book he had, How to Change Your Mind. That's what he's talking about. We talked about it before, and it's an awesome book. Did you ever get a chance to hear it or listen to it or read it?
Not yet.
No, it's really good. And he's talking about mushrooms and more from a scientific point of view. So it's not just to go out and have some fun and trip out or whatever, but also to there's a lot of new medical research that they're starting to find that deal with mushrooms and these other type of drugs that
Yeah. See, this is the problem. The problem with what especially our generation. Our generation's starting to kind of not start to believe what we were told, right? You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna do a little bit more research, right? Some of us don't care, some of us do, and I think with especially mushrooms, because I think I've we've been kind of curious about this as far as from eating them all the way up into actually consuming them for a different experience and just the different benefits everyone talks about. And obviously we can always inform ourselves, right? And I'm not gonna allow you to tell me that's bad just because you say it's bad. This is the whole presidential campaign. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. A fried egg.
Reagan era.
Yeah. Remember
Saying
that?
other
Like
drugs.
the famous one they show us all.
Narcos.
Well, they showed it on there.
Yeah, because I think that's where the whole
Back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Is it in the 80s? 80s, right? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I guess, oh, son, do you see that? Don't do drugs. Your brain's going to fry. And okay, I understand. There's certain crazy drugs that there's absolutely evidence that if you do meth or you do crack or you do cocaine or you do whatever other substance it is, you can most likely end up like this. Not everyone that does that ends up like that, but it could totally possibly happen. Now, with marijuana or other natural substance that we take, obviously, I guess cocaine starts as a natural thing, right? But it's just chemicalized and all this other crap, the way it's processed and whatever. So, how come we don't explain to people that, yeah, how come no one's ever died? I think, we touched a little bit upon it, like I think one of our first podcasts as far as marijuana and how, has anyone died?
Not technically directly from marijuana. I think I heard something earlier this year that some kid died but it wasn't like a direct because they were smoking. It had something to do with it, but
and that's what we're talking about here. I get it. For all you if you smoke weed and you get in a car and you get into a car accident, that should count. Okay, I get that. But you can say that about alcohol. People have died of alcohol from
die
from just consuming.
A bunch of DUIs and then accidents due to it.
Yeah, but no, we're talking here about the direct result of taking something leads to death, right? That's what we're talking about. And I mean, up to me, I haven't.
But now that you bring up alcohol, there's definitely alcohol poisoning. And a lot of people die from alcohol poisoning. No one has died from marijuana poisoning.
That we know of, so don't...
No. I mean, like, I can't remember the amount you have to take of marijuana to die, which is something that you can't possibly do realistically. Someone just smoke. You have to, I don't know how much, but it's a astronomical amount of weed you have to take within a certain time that realistically you can't do. So it's but then alcohol, you chug, a bottle of Jack,
you're gonna end up in the hospital.
You're gonna end up
in
not
the
dead,
hospital.
right?
If not dead, yeah.
And depending on your size and
you can
and weight
die
and all that.
from having too much water. You can drown yourself.
Yeah.
There's all these kids that get hazed at these universities and they make them chug gallons of water. They drown themselves to death.
Well, I remember this incident where it was a radio contest where they had people chug water, see whoever drank the most, and then
back in K-Rock.
A lady died because of it. She drank too much and died. Because osmosis or whatever the hell. Like once too much water is in your cells, it removes the the salt and other nutrients because of that. Like it's just trying to level off with inside the cell and outside. I can't remember the thing, but once some of those nutrients are removed from your cell due to too much water, you die because your body can't possibly function without those nutrients in those cells or those cells.
And going back to this, I will never advocate anyone doing any sort of drug, right? Like I don't listen. Be an adult, go out and do your own research, and then from there, figure out if that sort of medication is right for you, right? Like self-medicating, a lot of things can go wrong with this, man. A lot of things can go wrong.
Yeah, and so no, we're not advocating anything, but at the same time, we're also open-minded to the fact that you can't put everything, like all drugs, for example, all illegal drugs, into one category because they're not all equal. Just like we're not all equal. That's another topic. We're not
We get
all
mad.
equal.
I think we get pretty charged up about that, especially myself. But go ahead.
No, but yeah, so you can't they pile all these drugs into one category, and then everyone, whichever drug you're talking about, they automatically go to, oh, it's this, it's illegal, it's bad, or whatever.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of benefits that you can get from certain things, certain substances. And obviously, we all react differently. Our bodies react differently. So there's no like one size fits all to anything.
Yeah.
But we definitely do need to have an open mind about it and not just completely shut down something just because.
Vapor rub cures it all. You heard it here from me. All right. I advocate that. But no,
cured my herpes.
I don't know about all that. It ain't God. So, actually, I remember you got me into this medication. These mushroom pills that you can get on Amazon, and I remember taking them for the first time, and I remember calling you, right? I'm like, dude, mental clarity at its finest. I don't feel like I'm bugging out. And you're like, no, dude, I think it took you about a week or so to feel like the positive effects. But man, I was taking them, and it's like it's natural. I think it's an extract.
The ones we're taking, it's lion's mane. That's the specific mushroom. I think there's several other ones in those pills, but yeah, it's supposed to help with mental, clarity and relieve some mental stress.
No, absolutely. And actually, how last week or earlier this week, it's already Tuesday, man. Last Wednesday, I was out at a end of the year kind of lunch with my boss, and I started talking to him about it, and he actually was like, "Can you send me a photo of that?" So I sent him a photo, and he was like, "Okay." And my boss, I love him. He's an awesome guy, but he's very like to the book, very straightforward, works hard, just that kind of person. And I was so surprised that he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I pull it up and I show him just the 4 main ingredients or the ingredients. He's like, can you so I send it to them, and I think I sent it to a couple other coworkers. And I say, look, you can do it. It helped me out, especially for the type of job that I do. It's a little bit more stress. It's a little stress. It's just everything coming at you at once, right? Especially yourself as well. So yeah, man, I was definitely on that.
I saw a difference, and you obviously saw a faster difference, but
on the quicks.
No, but yeah, dude. I mean, again, there's a lot of benefits to mushrooms, not necessarily like to the shrooms and go on a trip, but just regular mushrooms.
Dude, it's just crazy because I remember like even 15 years ago when I was coming over to your house, and I remember like your parents would be like, all right, let's get some pizza, and then you'd be like, just make sure it has mushrooms. I'm like, oh, I don't want mushrooms. It's like, not mushrooms. And then I just remember you always liking them. But back then, we probably didn't know.
No, I just liked them.
Right. And I'm sure those mushrooms don't have that kind of...
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They're just
No,
edible.
I mean, mushrooms in general do have, certain health benefits. But no, I mean, there are certain mushrooms that we don't necessarily take on a regular basis that we find in a supermarket that are more beneficial. But yeah, like this one, lion's mane, that's one that it's the main one in those pills. And yeah, they definitely I feel the difference, and
just like
you felt the difference.
Milk Fizzle.
Haven't tried it yet.
Yo, Milk Fizzle, man.
Oh, yeah.
It worked. I remember we went to a getaway with the fellas, right? And I started Milk Fizzling it up, son. You know what I mean? I see what I heard is the way it works. And I tell you what, I never felt hungover.
You tried the milk thistle?
I tried the milk thistle.
He had the Fizzle.
You feel a difference or not?
I mean, I don't think I didn't really wake up too hungover.
Oh, okay. Because
I was giving these things out like candy, bro. Like here.
I don't remember how I felt, but no, I definitely have read that they do, help you out in with those type of effects. So no, for sure.
Are we at that time for a second right now? We are. Okay.
Are we done?
No, we're not done. We're gonna keep the show going. It's that special. Sorry, guys, you're gonna hear us.
All right.
Like I said, you're gonna hear us talk for a little longer, right? But no, aside from that, man, Anything interesting so far, as far as personal life or anything like that you might want to just share?
No.
No. All right, come on, man. You're the most interesting person
I don't share
that I
personal
know.
life.
No, not personal. Dude, come on now. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, jeez. No,
Put me on the spot like that.
Nah, I know. My bad. Well, okay. There is something I do want to talk about. So, a couple days ago, I woke up with a tweet that I tweeted. I tweeted this back in 2012. Back in 2012, I was what, 21 years old? 21 years old, probably? Yeah, around there. Damn, they're going to know how old I am. But anyways, I tweeted something. I was getting tickets through a certain third-party vendor, and I said, man, you can really go to this website and get tickets for penis on the dollar. That's what I said. I meant pennies on the dollar, right?
So
totally forgot about it.
Autocorrect thing.
The autocorrect did penis instead of pennies, and didn't think much of it. I don't even remember tweeting that tweet, right? This is how they get all these guys, right? Kevin Hart, all these dudes saying some insensitive stuff.
Although, it might have autocorrected to penis because you use that word a lot when you
Not
when you
then,
type.
dude. Not then. Then I was a little more scared of being like, myself.
Okay.
But anyways, so yeah. So I was like, okay. So I'm hearing my phone, like I'm half kind of asleep still, going zzz.
So you tweeted
Back in the day.
that you
But
get more
they're-
penises on the dollar?
Penises on the dollar.
All right.
Sounds like a strip club, huh? Anyway, so I hear my phone going zzz, zzz. I'm like, what the heck? Like probably somebody's texting me, just whatever. So I look at it and I'm like, okay, this isn't right. So I stop. And I'm like, whatever. I'm not even gonna give it any attention to it. I'm like, I know what I said. It wasn't it. And then throughout the day, I got a couple more. I'm like, okay. So I just retweeted it and I said, listen, I meant this and not that. So, just so you guys know, I'm a jackass, but not that much of a jackass. And so there is something that I do want to bring some awareness to. Speaking about penises, micro penises. So again, Twitter has a beautiful way of letting you know what's really going on. And I feel like Twitter is like, whatever is going on in the youth or whoever, that's what's being talked about, right? So I kept getting retweeted micro penises onto my timeline. And usually, me, I don't care. But it got to the point where I was like, oh God, give it a rest. Like, come on, dude. I don't want to see a bunch of penises on my timeline. So, anyway, so I'm
Does
going.
Twitter allow penises to be
They
shown?
allow anything. They allow porn. They allow anything. Anything.
I haven't
dude.
seen a lot of that. But
Anything. So, anyways,
continue.
I'm like, oh God. And just like any other curious guy, right? Maybe. I'm like, what the hell is what the hell's a micro penis, right? So sure enough, I look it up because I want to be a well-informed individual, and next time I'm able to talk about it, I can talk about it intelligently, right? So it turns out that there is 200,000 cases a year or somewhere around that of micro penises, and
In the U.S.?
in the United States. And I wanted to actually,
Well, public announcement?
yes. I'm being empathetic here.
No, yeah, dude.
And
I can see the seriousness. I just couldn't help it. Sorry.
and I do believe that this is something that you just got dealt with that card. I mean, how do you feel about it? I feel
when
like I ranted on this, but go ahead.
When you think about it, yes, dude. I mean, if you were the one part of those 200,000, or was it 200,000 you said? Cases?
Fewer than, yeah, but yeah, I guess.
No, that would definitely take a toll on my confidence and my ego and all that. So no, it's unfortunate.
Now, testosterone, that's what makes us men, right? That makes us guys, right? Testosterone. And, we start taking it, as we get older, we start getting more lazy and stuff, and we start running out of it. We peak on that under what, late 20s, early 20s is, no, mid 20s is kind of where it's at its peak in a way.
I don't remember.
Something like that, right? So anyway, so therefore we got to somehow compensate for it, you know, take something for it, right? So anyways, when you think about it, these guys, you know, there's probably something wrong with them, like as far as maybe their voice or whatever, just makes
Something different.
some different. But just in case you say somebody falls in love with them for who they are, and then they later on get divorced because they're not able to do what married couples are gonna do. So this guy cannot have love in his life. This one thing we seek to do is love and be loved. This guy's life neglected him from that, or at least a part of that. So that's why
You want to bring awareness
yes,
to the
show these guys
situation.
love. If you guys ever encounter one of these guys, be sympathetic. And again, they are people. They have a lot to love to give, and there's other ways to compensate for that. So that's what I want to say.
The only thing I would add to that is that you also need to be. You need to let people, like, especially if you're trying to marry someone
Yeah,
or
okay,
with someone,
okay.
you need to let them know the circumstances, because otherwise that's just, you know, you're just kind of omitting certain things that later on. Because we know about, you know, certain situations that I think are similar to that.
Of course, in their personal
And then it
life.
didn't work out because of that, but part
Yeah,
of it
yeah,
was
yeah,
that
of
omitting,
course, of
right?
course, of
No, so
course.
yeah. But no, we all need love.
We all need love. Whatever this love thing is, they throw this love word around like it's gold, right? Like
All right.
have you been in love?
I don't know, dude. Don't ask me that. I mean, but yeah.
Don't
Well,
ask me that. What the hell you
I don't
like,
know.
Oh,
I don't know.
miss me with that bullshit.
I mean, isn't that just, you know, relative? We all experience certain things differently. So, you know, what's love to you might be a little different, you know, to me and
This
the
is
next
true.
person. So, I mean, I don't know.
There's a girl out.
I don't
there's
feel like I have, but
I'm not gonna say a girl. There's an individual out there right now, as we speak, getting themselves beat, and they feel like that's love because oh, he loves me, he cares, he does this. If you,
That's what
first and
beats
foremost,
me.
if that's your situation, seek help.
of course.
And if this podcast, by any chance, allowed you to do that, hopefully it does, because that's not normal and that's not okay. That under no circumstance you should put your hands on another human being. But
Well, with our consent, yeah.
oh yeah, I know. Now you talk. Now you're going somewhere else with this.
Yeah, of course, you know, but you kind of need to
If-
clarify.
Yeah, without
Yes.
consent. Yeah, that's not correct. So, but he loves me. He treats me right. I don't
And
know
he also
about
beats the shit out of you.
that. Oh, there you go. I'm glad you said
Again,
it.
I don't know. I mean, if you're into that, then it's all
No,
good.
but there's. I don't think you receive any sort of. It's just. I think it's a weird way of being reassured they love you.
Obviously, there's more, you know, psychological stuff going
Oh,
beneath
yeah,
the
obviously going back
surface.
to that.
But again, if you're aware of that fact and then you still accept it, then okay, that's fine. You know, you're into that kinkiness. But otherwise, no, yeah, you shouldn't tolerate that.
No, definitely not. So, with that being said, I guess we'll just kind of wrap that up. I wanted to bring that up just because somehow penises have somehow been relevant.
Well, we did talk about dildos. We did talk
Yeah.
about.
So, they've been relevant the last 2-3 weeks in our lives, my life at least. But aside from that,
Not mine, just yours.
my life. Yeah. So thank you again. Hopefully, if you guys still tuning in after the 3rd episode, we appreciate it, and we keep hoping to keep you guys entertained. And with that being said, don't take anything we say. You know, it's just our
Take it with a grain of salt.
100%. So, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. And that's how we end it.